Welcome back to the show. The internet and its impact on mental health is explored in the off-Broadway to Broadway transfer of Job. It's a psychological thriller starring two actors with notable stage and TV credits. Let's take a look.
There's something about where we find ourselves today with the internet, this unwieldy thing that doesn't really have walls or limits. It just moves in scary ways.
Delving deep into the darker side of the net is the psychological thriller Job, now playing at the Hayes Theater. It's an 80-minute journey into the minds of two tormented professionals. One, a psychiatrist, the other, his patient. A big tech employee whose job it is to weed out violent, dark, and criminal content on the web. The mental strain proving to be too much, and her very public breakdown ends up going viral.
She's sharp, she's thorny. It's a very icy, cold world that she occupies.
The show features two actors from the HBO series Succession, Sydney Lemmon, the granddaughter of Jack Lemmon, and Peter Friedman. In Job, Friedman is a psychiatrist with his own tormented past.
What I have to do in this room with this young woman, it's to defuse the bomb, but it's to do it in a loving, maybe chaotic way.
Let's talk about your two stars. These are major names. How did they get involved with the project?
I still kind of can't believe we know Peter. Peter was like our number one always.
Having seen all those plays at Playwrights Horizons and Soho Rep New Theater Workshop as kids, and being like, oh, if you want a great actor doing off-Broadway plays.
I mean, the fact that he was in early work from Max Posner and Amy Herzog and Annie Baker, that like his stamp of approval as a Tony Award nominated legend, you know, who also starred in a Pulitzer Prize winning play. Like, for him to have given us that stamp of approval means everything. And Sydney was like, you know, we knew who she was and we had seen some of her work, but in her audition, which was over Zoom, like I started hysterically weeping. And I think she just changed everything. And once she read the part, the play made sense for the first time.
Before landing at the Hayes, Job had two immensely successful runs off-Broadway.
It's called Job, starring Peter Friedman and Sydney Lemmon.
The buzz generated in part by TikTok.
It runs until October 8th.
Both Friedman and Lemmon have been with the project since day one.
Lightning struck at the Soho Playhouse, and then it kind of struck again at Connolly, and then it seems to have struck again. It also goes back to the producers, who are very smart.
It's so hard to get a play on for anyone, for my group, my age group, and young people, and the fact that the three original producers just did it, you know? And then it led to some social media explosion for the play.
It does feel just so lucky to be touching this rocket ship and to have a new American play by someone who's I think he's under 30. It doesn't happen.
Let's go back to the very beginning. Without giving too much away, where did this idea come from?
I met someone at a party in San Francisco who had the job, the infamous job that the character in the play has. And I don't try to live life like this, but I immediately went to the bathroom and like started making notes on my phone because I thought it was so fascinating and so through the looking glass and so obvious. And I was so disturbed that I had never heard of this job.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you submitted this a few places and this play was rejected, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Tell me the story.
I was rejected from a handful of very prestigious MFA programs. I think we came to understand theater was made was just not waiting for a yes and not waiting for a gatekeeper to tell you that you could do something. I think it just goes to show how much good work is out there and that these channels and these opportunities for young writers, while they're great, they can't be the only avenue. I don't really wear it as like a chip on my shoulder or anything. It's more just sort of a like, wow, isn't life cool? That all of this rejection isn't correct, isn't like the be all end all.
I think there's so much more independently produced off-Broadway theater happening right now this year than there's been in recent memory. I think that sort of, obviously social media is a huge part of how those shows get to be. I also think that bigger actors are taking risks on younger artists and saying, yeah, I'll go do that equity showcase code budget, show for 10 performances. There are these sort of underground institutions that don't have the kind of budget that New York Theatre Workshop has or Playwrights has, but work is happening in those places, self-made by the artists who are making it, who are fundraising it themselves.
Your mom really encouraged you to keep going.
100%. My mom's a visual artist, and I grew up hanging out in her studio. She always instilled in me that the artist is the person who makes art, wherever it is, whatever the venue. You're not doing this for prestige, you're not doing this for reviews, you're not doing this for acclaim, you're doing this because on some level you need to do it. And she just never let me quit.
Watching the show, without giving too much away,
Right.
when there is this reveal of sorts, there are audible gasps in the audience. How is the audience responding when you're seeing them at the stage door?
You get some people who are therapists who, it's shocking. They say, I've been in a situation similar to this. You get some people who work in tech who say, I've been in situations that remind me of these. And that always blows my mind because our play, when I read it, took me to a world that I could only identify as fiction, but it connects with people. It speaks to a moment that we live in right now.
There is no denying that the folks who are alums of the incredible series Succession are doing a lot of theater.
Maybe for me, it's the same as for them, that after doing a series, after being the property of a television production where your freedom is limited, that you're just dying to do something on stage. Maybe it's as simple as that.
And thanks to Bond 45 for hosting that interview. You can catch Job now playing at the Hayes Theater. All right, that's a wrap for this week's show. Join us next week for more of the best of Broadway and beyond. And until then, I'll see you at the theater.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.